Hello and welcome back to another episode of Toby Investigates. Yes, you may have guessed this time around we're going to be looking at turbo trainers. Now I'm going to look at each one in terms of realism, in terms of noise, space savings, weight, you name it. Hopefully after this video you guys are going to be a bit more informed, ready to take your training indoors. So let's start off by making sure we're all on exactly the same page and defining just exactly what a turbo trainer is. Now this here is the most common design. This is an A-frame design at the back, and it basically lifts your back wheel and your front wheel off of the floor so that you can pedal statically indoors or outdoors if you like, but not having to go anywhere. It's basically a treadmill for your bike. I think I need to get changed into some kit, have a ride and show you exactly how it works. So as you can see, I am most definitely on a bike and I'm most definitely pedaling, but I'm not moving. And that is because I am on the turbo trainer. Now, turbo trainers vary differently depending on the mechanism they use in order to create resistance to push against. The one that I'm on at the moment is a magnetic turbo trainer. Now, magnetic turbo trainers, as you may have guessed, use magnets and resistance to create the resistance you pedal against. Magnetic trainers are generally the cheapest out of all turbo trainers, and they're easy to use, simple and reliable. They don't, however, offer the most realistic ride experience, and that you will need to spend a bit more money for. These trainers, once you get up to speed, do tend to make a bit more of a racket, but they have one great thing in their favour, and that is this control on the handlebars here. If I crank it up all the way to the top, it gets really hard to pedal. You can vary the resistance from this control on your handlebars. Very, very useful if you're doing intervals or something similar. So I've switched my turbo trainer up to a fluid turbo trainer. Now, a fluid turbo trainer is probably the next step up from magnetic one. Why is that? Well, they cost a bit more and they are harder to manufacture. The way resistance is provided in this is a sealed fluid container with a metal fan spinning around inside it. And as you pedal harder, the fluid tenses up, basically creates more resistance as you pedal harder. This is what is known as a progressive resistance, and you'll notice that I no longer have the dial on my handlebar. It's entirely up to the trainer how much resistance it is giving back to my legs. Now this is good because it gives it a more realistic road-like feel, but you do have to pay a bit more for it. And although it is a tiny bit quieter, it is still quite a noisy trainer. Now something else to bear in mind with both the magnetic trainer I've just shown you and this fluid one is the fact that it relies on a tyre, on a roller to provide the resistance. Now, this isn't a bad thing, it's a great way of transmitting the resistance, but on a prolonged training session, heat can build up in the tyre and can wear it extremely quickly. And it may be worth thinking if you are going to get a trainer to invest in a turbo trainer specific tyre. Now they are made out of a harder compound so they don't wear out as quickly, although they are most definitely not to be used on the road as you will have zero grip whatsoever. Now there is a trainer that does away with all of this tyre and roller trouble and means you don't have to buy a tyre. However, where you save on the tyre, you will be spending out on the trainer. They are often more expensive. Allow me to introduce you to the direct drive. So yep, that's right, we have done away with the back wheel. You'll see my brake is now rendered useless. And that is because the direct drive is exactly what it says on the tin. The bike is now directly connected to the turbo trainer. There is no wheel middleman rolling on a roller in between. Now, what are the advantages of a direct drive trainer? Well, they are far more accurate in terms of the feedback and the information they can give you. This direct drive trainer in particular is what is known as a smart trainer, and a smart trainer is anything that can give you information or transfer information accordingly. So for instance, if I were to have a head unit on my bike with this, it would transfer data about power, about speed, things like that. Now, all smart trainers can do that, but not all smart trainers can do what this smart trainer can do. Some smart trainers now can connect to your computer and connect to the internet, and therefore you can link it up to what is essentially a video game, a virtual reality world where you can cycle your bike. Furthermore, if your friends are linked up to that virtual world, you can race them from the comfort of your sitting room. And so you're going up a mountain online, the information will be purveyed from the screen down into the turbo trainer, increasing the resistance to really give me a realistic ride feel. Now you will notice that this direct drive trainer is quieter than any other trainer there is, and that is not because of the resistance mechanism. They can use fluid or magnetic, but it is just because we've done away with the wheel. It is incredibly sturdy, it's quite heavy. I can sprint out of the saddle on this and not have to worry. And on this one, pretty cool feature, it lights up too. Simple, but I love it. So if I said there wasn't another option available to you, I'd be lying. As you can see, I am on something completely different to a turbo trainer. This is what is known as a set of rollers, or parabolic rollers. Now the whole idea of this is that I'm actually having to keep my balance. As you can see, my wheels are not fixed into any particular point. Now although there's no resistance on a set of rollers, they are great for working on your cadence. I'm having to maintain a very, very steady pedal stroke in order not to fall off of this thing. I'm also having to concentrate and relax and steer with my hips, and they are great for working up bike control. Now although they're not in the same league as turbo trainers for training, they are a great indoor training aid and something completely different. And if the idea of sitting on a mind-numbing turbo trainer isn't floating your boat, then this might be up your street. Anyway, thank you very much for watching Toby Investigates. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions on anything you've seen, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, or get in touch with any of us in our stores, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Until the next time, I hope you enjoy the ride.